Do you need to pay tax on your Bitcoin transactions? And is there a way to legally pay less tax to SARS on your Bitcoin? As a Bitcoin or crypto investor, it's important to understand how SARS is thinking about these new asset classes and whether or not you might be liable to pay tax. The truth is that being strategic about how you transact can save you thousands of rands in tax bills. So let's dive into exactly how SARS taxes crypto in South Africa, the formula to reduce your tax bill, and later in the video we reveal how you can pay zero tax on your Bitcoin investment. Now if you're a new Bitcoin investor, we've got a special offer for you. Sign up to Luno using our referral code and you'll get up to 200 Rand in free Bitcoin. And there's no catch. Check out the description below for more details. Okay, let's start off by addressing a big tax misconception that we commonly hear from new investors.
By far the biggest misconception we see from new investors in the cryptocurrency space is that any gains or profits only become taxable when you withdraw the rands from the exchange. Unfortunately, this is not the case. Whether you choose to withdraw your profits or not has no bearing on your tax obligations. This is what SARS has to say about it. The onus is on taxpayers to declare all cryptocurrency-related taxable income in the tax year in which it is received or accrued. Failure to do so could result in interest and penalties. So as an example, let's say you've been regularly buying and selling cryptocurrencies on Luno and made 1,000 Rand trading profit in the 2025 tax year. It makes zero difference to SARS if you leave the profit on Luno or if you withdraw it into your bank account. The fact remains that you are liable to pay tax on that 1,000 Rand profit you made. However, and to be clear here, this example applies to someone who's actively buying and selling Bitcoin to profit in the short term, not someone who invests with a long-term outlook. This is a critically important difference. Let's unpack this further.
SARS considers cryptocurrency to be an asset, not a currency. And this means that your Bitcoin will be taxed in the same way as, for example, your share portfolio would be. There are two types of tax that could come into play here: capital gains tax or income tax. The type of tax applicable to your investment is going to depend on a few things, but one of the main factors SARS will look at is your intention when buying the asset. In other words, are you buying Bitcoin with the intention to invest and grow your capital for long-term goals? Or are you simply hoping to trade and make a quick buck? In general, investors who have a long-term outlook will be subject to capital gains tax. And traders who actively buy and sell in the short term will be subject to pay income tax on any profits. Now it's important to know that income is taxed far more aggressively than capital gains. Traders could pay up to 45% tax on profits depending on the tax bracket they are in, whereas investors would only ever pay a maximum of 18% on capital gains. So as you can see, short-term traders face harsh tax consequences for regularly buying and selling Bitcoin. Now the keyword here is sell. It is the act of disposing of your Bitcoin or crypto that leads to a taxable event.
Now, if you're serious about investing in Bitcoin, we strongly recommend you learn how to properly secure your Bitcoin. That's why we've partnered with CryptoVault, South Africa's leading hardware wallet supplier. Before you buy a meaningful amount of Bitcoin, get yourself a Trezor hardware wallet and learn how to use it. We've created a short course that explains everything from how to set up the device, how to create fail-safe backups, and even how to pass your Bitcoin on to your loved ones if something unexpected were to happen. Check out the link below to learn more.
Now stick with us here because this is important. Anytime you dispose of your Bitcoin or crypto, you will be liable for tax. From SARS's perspective, a disposal can relate to selling your Bitcoin for rands, swapping from Bitcoin to another cryptocurrency, or spending your Bitcoin. Basically, anytime you get rid of the original Bitcoin or crypto you purchased, you trigger a tax event. And whether you're liable to pay income tax or capital gains tax is entirely dependent on whether you fall into the investor or trader basket. Now, as a separate issue to this, some platforms like Luno offer the ability to stake or earn yield on some crypto products. We recommend you stay away from these products, but if you choose to use them, you'll be liable to pay income tax on any income you earn.
Okay, so with the basics out the way, how do you go about reducing your tax bill on your Bitcoin profits? Well, the goal is to ensure that SARS sees you as an investor, not a trader. Remember, it's not in SARS's interest to give you the benefit of the doubt, so you need to avoid all activity that could be seen as being short-term or speculative in nature. Here's the exact three-step formula you need to follow. 1. Buy Bitcoin only and hold it for at least 3 years. Remember, you pay no tax on buying and holding Bitcoin as a long-term wealth creation tool. 2. Do not engage in things like staking or other interest-generating products. As tempting as it may be, it will trigger a tax liability. And it also means having to leave your capital at risk on the platform, which is never a good idea. 3. Do not swap your Bitcoin for other cryptos. And definitely do not sell your Bitcoin within a 3-year period. Instead, consider buying Bitcoin regularly to keep accumulating for the long term. Consider setting up a repeat buy instruction on Luno to automate your buys and encourage disciplined saving. And of course, as always, after you've bought Bitcoin, you want to send it off the exchange into cold storage. Check out this video to learn more about self-custody and cold storage. Now, if you follow the 3 steps outlined in our investing formula, not only will you pay less tax down the road if you do sell, but history shows you'll almost certainly outperform any other traditional investment like stocks or property. And you will outperform 99% of crypto traders who buy and sell in the short term.
Now, what if you need to sell some Bitcoin in the future? Say for your child's education, or to put down a deposit on a home? Well, if you followed our investment formula, you'll pay no more than 18% tax on your profits. And because you were patient and invested for at least 3 years, that tax hit probably won't bother you all that much, given the generous returns achieved on your Bitcoin. But here's how you can pay 0 tax on your Bitcoin gains. SARS gives investors a 40,000 Rand exclusion for capital gains each and every year. That's 40,000 Rand tax-free per year. And this means that as long as you're careful with how much Bitcoin you sell, so you don't make more than 40,000 Rand profit in any single tax year, you'll pay 0 tax. Pretty incredible.
To give you an example of what this looks like, say you bought 20,000 Rand worth of Bitcoin today in early 2025, and let's say you need to sell some in 4 years' time in 2029. To be conservative, let's say your 20,000 Rand investment today is worth 100,000 Rand in 2029. Meaning you have a total gain of 80,000 Rand on your initial capital. This means you can sell half your Bitcoin in any given tax year completely tax-free. This is what the calculation looks like. Half your original investment is 10,000 Rand, which SARS calls your base cost. Your profit or gain on that portion of the investment is 40,000 Rand. And since you get a capital gains exemption of 40,000 Rand, this completely wipes out the profit you made, leaving you with a 0 tax bill. And if you want to sell the rest, all you have to do is wait for the next tax year, and you can sell the other half completely tax-free too.
So as you can see, it really pays to be smart about tax. With a little patience and forward thinking, you can save yourself a whole lot of money. If you enjoyed this video, please support us by giving it a like and sharing it with a friend. And don't forget to join our memberships on YouTube or Patreon to get the maximum value from us. From powerful courses to personalized email consulting, you're sure to get a lot of value from as little as 30 Rand per month. Thanks for watching.